Welcome to Paris Bible Radio France International. We're joined in the studio now by Nick Taylor, who's been looking at the French newspapers. Nick.
Well, most of the papers note that today is International Day of Migrants and use the occasion to discuss this tangled issue. Libération decries that France is not doing enough to help the world's desperate people. Instead, the state has spent the year turning the screws on them, it says. First, there were the words of Gérard Collomb in Calais on June 22nd. The Interior Minister called on NGOs who were helping migrants to go exercise their talents elsewhere, before adding that the city should no longer suffer from the abscess of migrants flocking to the region. After the words came the deeds: the dismantling of the jungle camp in Calais in October 2016, police harassment of migrants, destruction of shelters, confiscation of blankets and possessions, the use of tear gas, the lack of any provision for basic human sanitation. Another concern is that the government wants to send migrants back to seek protection from a country they have already crossed at the gateway to Europe. This and attempts to make aid to African nations dependent on their limiting migrant flows will only force migrants to find more dangerous routes and use more ruthless underground smuggling networks, says the paper. In overcrowded camps without sanitation or heating, we are now approaching a humanitarian crisis, says a separate commentary on the problem in Libération. It's a drama that does not take place in far-off Africa, but in Europe. The most shocking thing of all is that it's taking place against a backdrop of what the paper calls general indifference. Le Monde goes large on the same issue. The paper runs a double-page spread on Niger and the impact on the nation and the local communities who live along migration routes. The European Union is pressuring Niger to block these routes, and that can be seen clearly in Agadez, the largest city in central Niger, which has become a stepping stone for those trying to reach the Mediterranean coast. The wind has turned, says the paper. Agadez is no longer